20 black celebrities who kept a secret lover until the day they died. Welcome to Legends of Black Excellence, where we peel back the dazzling curtain of fame to reveal truths too captivating to ignore. In a world where glamour often overshadows reality, some of the most cherished black icons carried hidden romances to their graves, love stories so enthralling they remained veiled from the spotlight's glare. Imagine this: behind the velvet ropes, dazzling premieres, and relentless paparazzi flashes, 20 beloved black celebrities nurtured secret lovers, their passionate affairs cloaked in mystery until their final breath. Join us as we unravel these jaw-dropping tales of concealed desire, relationships so private, they stayed locked away forever. Dive into the intrigue with us today. James Baldwin. James Baldwin, born in 1924, was an American literary genius who poured his soul into words that still echo with raw power. A black man navigating a world steeped in racism, identity struggles, and forbidden love, he turned his pain into prose that captivated hearts. His personal life, however, remained a shadowed enigma, especially when it came to matters of the heart. Baldwin loved fiercely, men and women alike, but he guarded these passions like treasures locked in a vault, revealing them only after death had claimed him. Perhaps it was the suffocating weight of society's judgment or simply a desire to shield his innermost self that kept him silent. Yet, through his novel Just Above My Head, he offered a tender, piercing glimpse into the love he shared with black men, a tapestry of vulnerability and strength woven with breathtaking care. Works like Go Tell It on the Mountain and Another Country plunge into the depths of human longing, unearthing the beauty and torment of connection in a world that often denied it. His words were a lifeline, a blazing signal to those who felt adrift, unseen, or unloved. Baldwin once confessed that a hidden life could be a crushing burden, a quiet ache that dwarfed even the secrets themselves. His legacy isn't just in his fearless storytelling but in the way he transformed silence into a haunting, resonant song, one that lingers long after the final page is turned. Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston wasn't just a star, she was a force of nature, a woman whose voice could shatter glass and whose beauty left the world breathless. She didn't merely grace the music scene, she redefined it, soaring to unimaginable heights during the dazzling 1980s. Her name became synonymous with timeless anthems like I Will Always Love You and Greatest Love of All, songs that still echo through generations. Yet, beneath the glittering spotlight and the roar of adoring crowds, Whitney's personal life was a labyrinth of shadows and unspoken truths. At the heart of it all was her profound, passionate bond with Robin Crawford. They met as teenagers, two souls instantly intertwined, their connection blossoming from a fierce friendship into a love too powerful to ignore. But as Whitney's fame skyrocketed, the weight of public scrutiny grew suffocating. Terrified of judgment and the wreckage it could bring, she buried their romance deep within, shielding it from a world that wasn't ready. That secrecy became a silent fracture, eventually pulling them apart romantically, though their unshakable friendship endured. Whitney trusted Robin so completely that she chose her as a bridesmaid at her wedding to Bobby Brown, a bittersweet testament to their bond. While tabloids chased scandalous tales of her relationships with men, the truest story lay hidden in her heart, locked away with Robin. It wasn't until years after Whitney's tragic passing that Robin unveiled their truth in a raw, revealing memoir. Through her words, we glimpsed the love they nurtured, the battles they fought, and the aching reality of a romance forced to thrive in the dark, a secret Whitney carried to her grave, now illuminated by the courage of the woman who loved her most. Little Richard. Little Richard wasn't just a musician, he was a blazing comet that tore through the fabric of rock and roll, igniting a revolution with every electrifying note. Born Richard Wayne Penniman in 1932, he stormed into the 1950s music scene like a wildfire, unleashing timeless anthems like Tutti Frutti and Long Tall Sally. His raw, untamed energy, flamboyant flair, and boundary-shattering performances didn't just entertain, they redefined what rock could be, carving a path for generations to follow. With fame, fortune, and a legion of adoring fans, he seemed untouchable. Yet beneath the glitter and glory, Little Richard wrestled with a storm inside his soul. For decades, he buried a truth that gnawed at him, his undeniable attraction to men. In an era that demanded conformity, he cloaked his desires in shadow, terrified that revealing them would torch his career to ashes. Publicly, he played the part society expected, marrying women and projecting an image of conventionality, while secretly sharing stolen moments with male lovers. One such hidden romance flickered with Audrey Robinson, a dancer known as Lee Angel, a connection whispered about but never fully unveiled. His life became a tightrope walk between the spotlight and the shadows, a dance of passion and secrecy. Raised in a deeply religious family, Little Richard's faith clashed fiercely with his authentic self. He grappled with his sexuality in waves, sometimes embracing it, other times renouncing it, mirroring the turmoil that raged within. His story transcends the stage, it's a haunting tale of identity, yearning, and the masks we wear. When he left this world in 2020, Little Richard didn't just leave behind a musical legacy, he sparked a timeless dialogue about love, truth, and the courage to be real, echoes of which still ripple through our lives today. Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. stands as a towering figure in history, revered worldwide as the heartbeat of the civil rights movement, a man who poured his soul into the fight for equality and justice. His electrifying speeches and unshakable dedication ignited hope in millions, etching his name into the annals of time. Yet, beneath the legend lies a deeply human story, one tangled with hidden desires and unspoken truths. While bound in matrimony to Coretta Scott King, he nurtured a profound and clandestine bond with Dorothy Cotton, a formidable leader in the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Their connection was more than fleeting, it was a lifeline, intense and intimate, with Cotton often by his side during his relentless travels. For King, she offered a rare sanctuary, a whisper of peace amid the storm of his public battles. He once confided a radical yearning, to live in a world that embraced polygamy, revealing the intricate layers of his heart, torn between duty and passion. Still, he clung to his marriage with Coretta, and his towering influence demanded secrecy, shrouding his affair in shadows. Cotton, though cherished, was relegated to the edges of his life, her presence veiled from prying eyes. Beyond his public triumphs, King wrestled with private demons, guilt gnawed at him, a silent torment born from his infidelity. This hidden chapter closed tragically in 1968 with his assassination, leaving behind a legacy both monumental and achingly human, a testament to a man who changed the world while guarding secrets of the heart until his final breath. Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye was a musical titan whose soulful voice breathed life into timeless hits like What's Going On and Sexual Healing, leaving an indelible mark on the world. Born in 1939, he rose to stardom under Motown's dazzling spotlight, his velvety tones and heartfelt lyrics enchanting listeners everywhere. Yet, beneath the brilliance of his artistry lay a life steeped in turbulence and hidden desires. Gaye's personal world was a storm of fractured marriages and clandestine passions that fueled both his genius and his chaos. Trapped in two toxic unions, he sought solace in the arms of secret lovers, weaving a tangled web of romance that mirrored the intensity of his songs. While bound to Anna Gordy in a crumbling marriage, he quietly pursued other women, perhaps chasing an elusive spark to fill the void fame couldn't satisfy. But no chapter of Gaye's love life burned brighter, or darker, than his affair with Janice Hunter. Their connection ignited when she was still a high school student, a forbidden flame that flared amid the ashes of his failing marriage. What began as a whirlwind of passion blossomed into a profound bond, giving them 2 children and moments of undeniable tenderness. Yet, even this love couldn't escape the shadows of Gaye's demons. His relentless infidelity and struggles with substance abuse cast a haunting pall over their union, threatening to unravel the very thing he held dear. Marvin Gaye's voice may have soothed millions, but his heart remained a battlefield of secrets and longing, a mystery he carried to his final breath, a legacy as captivating as it was tragic. Etta James. Etta James wasn't just a singer, she was a force of nature, a soul-stirring queen whose velvety voice could unravel the iciest hearts and ignite the dullest rooms. She ruled the stage with a raw, untamed energy, weaving gospel, blues, and rock into a sound so potent it felt like a confession set to music. Her timeless anthems, like At Last and I'd Rather Go Blind, are etched into history, but beneath the spotlight, her life was a labyrinth of turmoil and mystery that only deepened her legend. Etta poured her soul into every note, defying convention with a fearless spirit that refused to be boxed in. Yet away from the microphone, her world was far from glamorous, a chaotic tapestry of concealed passions, a stormy marriage, and a relentless battle with addiction that often threatened to eclipse her brilliance. Whispers of secret lovers trailed her like shadows, fueling endless curiosity about the romantic chapters she locked away. One such enigma was her bond with Harvey Fuqua, a gifted musician and producer who shared more than just a professional spark with her during her prime. Their connection simmered beneath the surface, too profound to dismiss as fleeting, yet shrouded in silence, perhaps to shield her already turbulent life or to cradle a rare sliver of privacy. Despite the chaos, Etta's fire never dimmed. Even in her later years, she captivated audiences, clinched Grammy wins, and earned her place in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Her legacy stands as a towering testament to resilience, a woman who turned pain into power and secrets into songs that still echo through time. Josephine Baker. Josephine Baker was a dazzling enigma, a woman who ignited stages with her electrifying presence while weaving a life of intrigue that captivated the world. In the roaring 1920s, she stormed Paris with a bold, unapologetic flair, her performances radiating a charisma that left audiences spellbound. Beyond the spotlight, Baker was far more than a mere entertainer. She was a fierce warrior for racial equality and freedom, her voice a beacon in the fight against injustice. Yet, beneath the glittering facade of her public persona lay a private world shrouded in mystery, pulsing with forbidden passions. Her heart danced to a rhythm few could decipher, drawing both men and women into her orbit with an allure that defied convention. Whispers of clandestine affairs trailed her like shadows, tales of a torrid romance with the enigmatic artist Frida Kahlo, whose wild genius mirrored Baker's own, set tongues wagging. Then there were the rumored entanglements, a steamy liaison with novelist Georges Simenon, whose words couldn't capture the fire of their connection, and a magnetic bond with Swiss-French architect Le Corbusier, a union steeped in artistic fervor and unspoken longing. Her love life was a labyrinth of scandal and secrecy, each chapter more provocative than the last. Still, amid the chaos of her romantic escapades, Baker's devotion to her craft and her crusade for civil rights burned brighter than ever. She wielded her fame like a weapon, fearlessly challenging racism and championing equality, etching her name as an indelible force, a trailblazing artist and activist whose legacy endures beyond the secrets she carried to her grave. Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor was a trailblazing comedian and actor whose raw, unfiltered storytelling redefined stand-up comedy, captivating audiences with his fearless dive into provocative topics. Born in 1940, he burst onto the scene in the 1960s, wielding a razor-sharp wit that bridged racial divides and left crowds roaring. His humor wasn't just entertainment, it was a mirror to his life, reflecting the gritty realities of racism, addiction, and tangled relationships with a brutal honesty that hit hard and lingered deep. Albums like That Nigger's Crazy didn't just win him 5 Grammys, they cemented his legacy as a towering figure in comedy, a legend whose influence still echoes today. But while Pryor laid his soul bare on stage, his romantic world remained a shadowed enigma. Multiple high-profile marriages and flings with women painted a vivid picture, yet whispers of deeper secrets stayed hushed until his death in 2005 at 65. Only then did revelations trickle out, through memoirs and confidences, hinting at a bisexual undercurrent he never fully owned in his lifetime. In an era when such truths could ignite scandals, Pryor kept those chapters locked tight, shared only with a trusted few. One standout connection was with actress Catherine McKee, a bond he cherished quietly, its intimacy glowing beneath the surface of his chaotic public life. His genius lay not just in laughter, but in the mystery he wove around his heart, secrets that slipped away with him, leaving us to wonder about the man behind the mic. Paul Mooney. Paul Mooney was a comedic titan whose razor-sharp wit and fearless social commentary left an indelible mark on the world of humor. His legendary partnership with Richard Pryor, forged in the crucible of the late 1960s, was nothing short of a cultural phenomenon. Together, they crafted a legacy that redefined comedy, blending laughter with unflinching truths about race, power, and society, truths others tiptoed around but Mooney charged toward head-on. As a writer, he was the unsung architect behind Pryor's most iconic routines, a mastermind whose influence rippled through the 1970s and beyond, shaping the very soul of stand-up. His genius didn't stop there. Shows like In Living Color and Chappelle's Show bear his imprint, cementing his status as a trailblazer who dared to push boundaries. Yet, beneath the spotlight, Mooney's private world was a labyrinth of mystery. He cloaked his romantic life in shadows, a guarded secret that mirrored both his personal struggles and the rigid norms of his era. Only in hushed whispers from close confidants did the truth emerge. After his passing, Mooney's heart danced to a rhythm unbound by convention, drawn to both men and women. This hidden layer of his life added a poignant depth to his enigma. In his memoir Black is the New White, he peeled back the curtain, ever so slightly, revealing a man wrestling with love, addiction, and the weight of fame. Through it all, his bond with Pryor remained an anchor, an unspoken understanding between two souls who saw each other's rawest edges. Mooney lived and died with secrets tucked close, a lover's tale untold until the end. Jesse Owens. In the annals of history, Jesse Owens stands as a titan, a man who shattered barriers and silenced the venomous rhetoric of Adolf Hitler's Aryan supremacy with nothing but his sheer will and blazing speed. Born in 1913 in the humble town of Oakville, Alabama, Owens emerged from the shadows of racial oppression to etch his name in gold at the 1936 Berlin Olympics. There, he didn't just compete, he dominated, claiming 4 gold medals in the 100-meter dash, long jump, 200-meter sprint, and 4x100-meter relay. Each victory was a defiant roar against prejudice, a testament to his unyielding spirit that captivated the world and cemented his legacy as a sporting icon. Yet, beneath the dazzling spotlight of his triumphs lay a life veiled in complexity. In 1935, he wed Ruth Solomon, the woman who bore him 3 daughters, crafting a picture-perfect family man for the public eye. But whispers of hidden passions trailed him like a shadow throughout his career and beyond. In an era suffocated by rigid societal norms, Owens danced a delicate line between his polished persona and the desires he kept locked away. Rumors of clandestine lovers, affairs that dared not speak their name during his lifetime, remained hushed until his death in 1980. Only then did the layers peel back, revealing a man far more intricate than the hero of the tracks. Owens was no saint carved in marble. He was flesh and blood, a legend whose heart raced not just on the field but in the quiet corners of forbidden romance. His story, rich with triumph and tangled in secrecy, reminds us that even the greatest among us carry mysteries to their graves. Toni Morrison. Toni Morrison was a literary titan whose pen rewrote the rules, weaving tales that plunged deep into the soul of the African-American experience. Born in 1931 in the gritty heart of Ohio, she crafted masterpieces like The Bluest Eye, Song of Solomon, and Beloved, works that didn't just tell stories but conjured worlds. Her prose danced with poetic fire, unearthing raw truths about identity, race, and love in ways that linger like echoes in the mind. It's no wonder she claimed the Pulitzer and Nobel Prize for Literature. Her genius was undeniable, her voice a thunderclap in a quiet room. Morrison placed Black women at the heart of her narratives, illuminating their struggles and triumphs against a backdrop stained by racism and sexism. Her stories weren't just words, they were revelations, bold and unapologetic. Yet, behind her towering legacy, Morrison cloaked her personal life in shadow. She wed Harold Morrison in 1958, but that union crumbled after a decade, leaving whispers in its wake. Beyond that, her romantic life was a tantalizing mystery. She wove connections with both men and women, threads of passion carefully hidden from the spotlight. One name that surfaces is Fran Lebowitz, the sharp-witted comedian whose bond with Morrison sparked quiet speculation. Friends and biographers hint at other significant lovers, figures who stirred her heart and perhaps her pen, though she guarded those secrets fiercely. It wasn't until her death in 2019, at the age of 88, that the world began peeling back the layers of this enigmatic icon. Even now, her private passions. Nina Simone. Nina Simone wasn't just a musical titan, she was a fearless force of nature whose voice roared across generations. Born Eunice Kathleen Wayman in 1933, she set her sights on mastering classical piano, only to find her destiny in the soul-stirring realms of jazz and blues. With those genres as her weapons, she crafted anthems like Mississippi Goddam, a fiery cry for justice, and Feeling Good, a soaring testament to resilience. These songs didn't just echo through the civil rights movement, they became its heartbeat, fueled by her unyielding devotion to equality. Simone's art was raw and untamed, defying every boundary with a depth of emotion that made her one of a kind. Yet, While her activism blazed in the spotlight, her private world remained a shadowed enigma. She guarded her romantic life like a fortress, leaving even her most ardent fans in the dark. Among the few glimpses we get is her turbulent love with Andrew Stroud, her second husband and manager. Their bond was a wildfire, intense, consuming, and ultimately scarred by his violence, a wound that bled into her life and lyrics. Beyond Stroud, whispers swirled of other lovers, civil rights warriors, fellow artists, and even women. Though she never publicly defined her sexuality, her diaries hint at a quiet pull toward women, a hidden thread woven into the tapestry of her identity. These personal storms, love, pain, and unspoken longing, infused her music with a haunting authenticity that still captivates. Nina Simone lived and loved on her own terms, taking her secrets to the grave, her legacy a melody of defiance and mystery. Diana Ross. Diana Ross, the undisputed queen of Motown, reigns as a legend in her own right, a force of nature who didn't just sing but shaped an era. As the luminous voice of the Supremes, she delivered timeless anthems like Stop, In the Name of Love and You Can't Hurry Love, crafting a sound that echoed through generations and shattered barriers for black women in music. Her career, a dazzling tapestry spanning decades, is adorned with accolades, including a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, proving her solo journey was as unstoppable as her beginnings. Yet, beneath the glitz and glamour, her private life whispered tales of passion and enigma. One such secret was her fiery, forbidden romance with Smokey Robinson, a connection so intense it burned through the boundaries of his marriage. Years later, Smokey confessed to a bond that transcended melodies, a pull too powerful to deny. Then there was Berry Gordy, Motown's visionary founder, whose love for Ross blurred the lines between business and heart. Their affair was a whirlwind, yet ambition ultimately trumped romance. Whispers also swirled around her bond with Michael Jackson, a prodigy who adored her as both muse and mentor, his affection teetering on the edge of something deeper. But Ross, ever the master of her narrative, guarded her legacy fiercely, letting no scandal dim her shine. Until her final days, these hidden loves remained locked in the shadows, unveiled only by time, painting her not just as a star, but as a woman of mystery and allure. Bessie Smith. Bessie Smith, the undisputed empress of the blues, commanded the music world with a voice that roared with raw power and soul. Born in 1894 in Chattanooga, Tennessee, she blazed through the jazz age, leaving behind over 160 recordings and claiming the title of the highest-paid black artist of her era. Her songs were unpolished, fierce, and drenched in emotion, weaving tales of love, heartbreak, and the brutal truths of life, themes that echo even now. Yet, her off-stage existence burned just as brightly as her performances. Bessie lived boldly, her heart drawn to both men and women, her romances as fiery as her music. Her marriage to Jack G was a tempest, rocked by mutual infidelity and unrelenting drama. Behind closed doors, she ignited passionate affairs with chorus girls, including a clandestine, electric connection with Lillian Simpson, a secret she shielded from Jack, knowing his fury would erupt if uncovered. Later, even as her marriage staggered on, she forged a profound, hidden bond with Richard Morgan, a love kept under wraps. Tragically, Bessie's vibrant life was snuffed out in a 1937 car crash, leaving not only an unmatched musical legacy but also a trove of romantic mysteries that only unraveled long after her final bow. Her secrets, like her songs, linger as haunting echoes of a life lived without apology. Langston Hughes. Langston Hughes, a literary titan, carved an unforgettable legacy into the heart of American letters with his electrifying poetry and prose. Born in 1902, he wielded words like a maestro, celebrating black culture while staring down the brutal truths of racial injustice. His iconic works, The Negro Speaks of Rivers, with its soul-stirring depth, and The Weary Blues, pulsing with the raw rhythm of jazz, captured the essence of the African-American spirit in ways that still echo today. Yet, Hughes was more than a poet. He was a global wanderer, a cultural torchbearer who soaked up the world's stories and poured them into his craft. Publicly, he dazzled as a voice for the marginalized, but behind the curtain, his personal life shimmered with enigma. Whispers of secret lovers swirled around him, cloaked in the shadows of a society bound by rigid norms. He shared profound bonds with figures like Zora Neale Hurston, yet his romantic entanglements remained a locked vault, only cracked open after his death in 1967. Biographers later unveiled a tapestry of relationships, with both men and women, that wove complexity into his identity. These hidden passions didn't just shape his private world, they seeped into his art, infusing his verses with a tender ache for love and belonging. Hughes carried his secrets to the grave, leaving us to marvel at a man whose life was as layered and luminous as the lines he penned. Zora Neale Hurston. Zora Neale Hurston was a dazzling enigma, a literary genius and fearless anthropologist who breathed life into black culture with her electrifying storytelling. Born in 1891 in Alabama, she was shaped by the vibrant pulse of Eatonville, Florida, the first all-black incorporated town in America. This unique upbringing fueled her masterpiece, Their Eyes Were Watching God, 1937, a soul-stirring tale of a black woman's journey to self-discovery and unshakable strength. Beyond novels, Hurston blazed trails as an anthropologist, capturing the raw essence of black folklore in works like Mules and Men, ensuring its legacy endured. Yet, while her literary brilliance shone brightly, her romantic life was a shadowy, captivating mystery. Hurston danced through love with a quiet intensity, keeping her affairs veiled from prying eyes. Her marriage to Herbert Sheen unraveled by 1931, sparking a series of passionate, discreet liaisons. Whispers of a romance with the legendary Langston Hughes swirled, though their bond morphed into a fiery, platonic friendship. Other lovers slipped in and out of her life like ghosts, their stories locked away until her death in 1960. Only then did biographers begin peeling back the layers, revealing a woman whose heart was as bold and untamed as her pen. Hurston's secret loves, hidden behind her radiant public persona, paint a portrait of a woman who lived fiercely, loved deeply, and guarded her mysteries until the end. Phyllis Hyman. Phyllis Hyman possessed a voice that was nothing short of a phenomenon, a rich, commanding force that could stir the deepest corners of the soul. Songs like You Know How to Love Me and Living All Alone remain timeless treasures, enchanting lovers of R&B and jazz with their haunting beauty. Yet, beneath the spotlight's glow and the applause of adoring fans, Hyman carried a hidden burden she rarely let the world see. She wrestled silently with bipolar disorder and depression, shadows that clung to her through every triumph. To dull the relentless ache within, she turned to alcohol and stimulants, chasing fleeting moments of peace that slipped through her fingers like sand. Tragically, the very escapes she sought only tightened the grip of her struggles, pulling her further into a quiet abyss. It wasn't until years after her passing that the layers of her private life began to unfold, revealing a tapestry of love and complexity. Whispers emerged of romantic connections with both men and women, including a rumored, deeply meaningful bond with musician Tina Clark. Though Hyman never publicly claimed the label of bisexual, those closest to her hinted that her relationships with women were a vital, cherished part of her existence. This enigmatic songstress, whose voice could heal a broken heart, kept her own heart's secrets locked away until the end, a poignant reminder that even the brightest stars can harbor the darkest storms. Octavia E. Butler. Octavia E. Butler stands as a titan of science fiction, a trailblazer who shattered ceilings and rewrote the rules of a genre long ruled by white men. Born in 1947 in Pasadena, California, she emerged as the first black woman to carve her name into this literary landscape, wielding stories that probed the raw edges of race, gender, and humanity. Works like Kindred and the Parable series don't just entertain, they confront, weaving intricate tapestries of identity, power, and survival that cement her as a cornerstone of Afrofuturism. Yet, while her bold narratives roared with unflinching clarity, Butler's personal life remained a locked vault, shrouded in enigma. Unlike the fearless world she crafted, her romantic entanglements were cloaked in shadow, whispered about only by close confidants and biographers who hinted at secret lovers, figures who shaped her in ways she never publicly confessed. Known for her guarded nature, Butler sidestepped questions of desire, her attraction to both men and women a quiet undercurrent that fueled speculation. It wasn't until her death in 2006 that the veil began to lift, revealing a woman whose private passions burned as fiercely as her prose. Beneath her reserved exterior lay a soul who loved deeply, craved connection, and guarded those intimacies with a ferocity that mirrored her fiction. In the end, Butler's hidden romances only deepened her mystique, proving that even a visionary who bared humanity's soul on the page could keep her own heart a tantalizing riddle. Luther Vandross. Luther Vandross was the epitome of soulful elegance, a man whose velvety voice and heartfelt ballads carved an unforgettable legacy in the music world. Born on April 20, 1951, he began as a background singer, his talent simmering beneath the surface until it erupted with his 1981 debut album, Never Too Much. That record unleashed a tidal wave of smooth charisma and poetic lyrics, resonating deeply with listeners and catapulting him to stardom. His timeless hits, like the Grammy-winning Dance with My Father, crowned Song of the Year in 2004, wrapped romance and vulnerability in a sound so rich it felt like a warm embrace. Selling over 40 million records and clutching 8 Grammys, Vandross didn't just sing, he painted emotions with every note, cementing his place among the greatest vocalists ever. Yet, behind the melodies of devotion and love, his personal life remained a shadowed enigma. Fiercely private, he shielded his romantic world from prying eyes, leaving fans to wonder about the heart behind the voice. Though he never publicly addressed his sexuality, whispers from close friends and later biographers hinted at a life of quiet complexity, relationships with both men and women that mirrored the inner struggles of a man navigating an often unforgiving society. When he passed in 2005, the veil lifted slightly, revealing a man whose emotional depth fueled his music in ways fans could only begin to grasp. For Luther, love was both his muse and his mystery, a secret lover he kept close until the very end, one that lived on in the soul-stirring echoes of his songs. The lives of these 20 black celebrities, like Luther Vandross, reveal a tapestry of talent, passion, and hidden truths that captivate us even after they're gone. Their secret lovers, kept close to the heart until their final days, add layers of mystery and humanity to their legacies, reminding us that even icons wrestle with the complexities of love and identity. What do you think? Did these untold stories deepen your appreciation for their art, or leave you craving more? We'd love to hear your thoughts. If this journey through the shadows of fame moved you, please drop a like and share your comments below. Better yet, join us for more untold tales by subscribing to Legends of Black Excellence. Let's celebrate the brilliance and secrets of these stars together. Hit that subscribe button now and stay tuned for more from 20 black celebrities who kept a secret lover until the day they died.